Hi, this is Dr. Bitla Venu coming in front of you with a new topic in CAD/CAM. Let me quickly go through the previous session contents. In the last class, we have seen manufacturing resource planning, MRP2, in which we are covered introduction, typical overview, advantages, and applications. Then we have seen enterprise resource planning, ERP, in which we have gone through the concept, functions of ERP, advantages and disadvantages. Finally, we have seen SAP. The topics covered in SAP is overview. Then we have seen the different modules used in SAP with respect to the function of the organization. Let me quickly go through the contents covered in this slideshow. This slideshow is going to cover the numerical control missions. The contents of this numerical control missions includes the introduction, need of the missions, NC missions. Then we have the classification. Then we will see the block diagram of numerical control system. Then we will move forward to discuss the functions of component of the NC system. What are the components involved in NC system? We will see all the components of NC system along with the block diagram. Before that, we will classify NC, numerical control missions. Finally, we will see the procedure of the numerical control. When it comes to the introduction, numerical control is a programmable automation which is going to process the equipment, which is used to process the equipment controlled by a set of instructions called program. Numerical control is an programmable automation in which the machines are controlled by the processed instructions. The program, those instructions are called program. The program includes the numbers, letters, and symbols. I repeat this, numerical control is a mission which is controlled by a program of instructions which includes the numbers, letters, and symbols. Numbers, letters, and symbols are coded or arranged in a definite format, which in turn we can call it as a uh, uh, instruction. Code of instruction is connected to the mission to control. Then the operations to be performed on the job changes, the instructions also changes. That means the operations to be performed on the workpiece changes. The program of instructions also we need to change. Let us see the need of NC missions. The manufacturing the components with very high accuracy. This is one need of the NC mission. Then to manufacture the components of complex shape, just to reduce the machining time. Reducing the machining time means if you machine using a conventional machine, stopping the machine frequently and measuring the past dimensions will take time. So that is going to, that time is going to reduce when you use NC machine. So these three are the needs of the NC machine to manufacture the components with high accuracy, complex shape to manufacture the complex shaped components, to reduce the machining time by stopping the machining frequently and measuring the past dimensions, we can reduce that time. When it comes to the classification of NC machine, the first classification is position based according to the position control of the tool. In what way we are positioning the tool? In which you have point to point, continuous path, and contouring. Positioning control of the tool means in what way we are positioning the tool. You can see one figure in which we are positioning the tool. The first one is point to point. In this case, the tool is going to move from one point to another point, in a random way. We are not going to consider the movement of the tool, in what way it is moving. Our total focus is on the point. As and when the tool moves to the point, at that location, the work will be performed. Now you can see here, the tool moves from point 1 to point 2, 3, and 4. We are not considering the path followed by the tool when it is moving from one point to another point. This type of positioning is called point to point positioning. This is one of the classification. Let me move on to the continuous path. In the case of continuous path, the tool is going to be move along X or Y directions only. This type of machining is used to drill the rectangular component, to machine the rectangular components on the milling machine. The rectangular components are having horizontal planes and vertical planes, so that we can move the tool along X-axis, along Y-axis. Hence, we can conclude that in the case of continuous path, the tool is going to move along X-axis as well as Y-axis. It may be along X-axis or maybe along Y-axis at a time. This type of positioning control of the tool is used in milling operations to machine rectangular blocks. This is called the straight cut control in NC. This can also be called as a straight cut control. And the example for this previous one is the drilling machine, press drilling machine. Once the tool reaches to the desired location, we will perform the drilling operation. So the press drilling operation is an example for point to point control system. As I said just now, the example for this continuous path is milling the rectangular component, machining the rectangular components on a milling machine is an example for the continuous path. In this case, the tool moves along X-axis or the Y-axis. Then you have the other type of positioning control of the tool, that is contouring. In this case, the tool is not at all going to move in a straight line way. It is going to move in a random way. So that this positioning control of the tool is used to machine the irregular surfaces also. You can see here this contouring. In this contouring, the movement of the tool is continuously varies on the work plane. That means the coordinates of X, Y varies continuously on the work plane. This contouring can be achieved by approximating the straight line. In the previous case, we have seen that in the case of point to point, in the case of continuous path, the tool is going to move in a straight line way. When we approximate that straight line path into very small length straight lines, when you discretize, when you assume the length of the path as very small, we can achieve this contouring movement. So finally, I can say that the movement of the tool in the case of contouring is going to continuously vary. That means the coordinates of the tool continuously varies from point to point. That you can observe in this figure. In this figure, the tool is going to produce one contour which is having a curved path. You can observe a path in this case. In the previous two cases, point to point and as well as straight line cut, this is a straight line, but whereas here the path is a curve. This curve we can achieve by approximating the straight line as a short length line. This is what the basic principle to achieve the movement of the tool in the case of contouring. Contouring is used to produce the irregular shaped machining, to machine the irregular shaped surfaces. Now let us come to the second classification. The NC machines are also classified on the loops, control loops. One, it can be, under this you have subclassification, that is open loop, it can be a closed loop. In the case of open loop system, you have a machine here, you're performing some process here, assume that you have a machine here, then you have a controller here. In between that, the controller is going to send the normal signal. Normally the controller is going to send the signal to the processing unit. In our case, if it is a mission, it is a NC mission, it receives the signal from the controller. If there is any error, it is going to send the error to the controller to rectify that. So that error will be again sent to the machine to reduce the error until it becomes zero. The work will be in hold. Hold means it is not going to stop, but automatically the error will be rectified. The zero error, the work will be performed at this location. That will be performed in the case of closed loop. But whereas in the case of open loop, this machine or the process where we are doing something, it is not going to receive anything from the controller in a reversed way. That means you don't have, this controller is not going to send any feedback signal to the controller. Machine. Here you have a processing machine. This processing machine is not going to receive any feedback signal from the controller in the case of open loop. So this is more prone for errors. If it is an open loop, once you feed the program wrong, once you do some mistake, once you do any mistake, so the work will also be, we will also get the errored work. Whereas in the case of closed loop system, the processing machine is going to receive the feedback signal continuously. Now you can see here you have a processing machine. If there is any error, if there is any deviation of the actual value to the signal received from the controller, if there is any difference or the error, the measuring equipment is going to measure that error. Again, that signal will be sent to the controller. Again, this controller sends the signal with zero error. Then the work will be performed without any error. That means you can conclude that this closed loop system is going to control the error by sending the feedback signal, by receiving the feedback signal from the controller by the processing machine. In this case, the process means here you have a machine control unit. Here you have machine tool unit, and controller is a machine control unit, MCU. Now the third classification is according to the power drives. According to this classification, the NC machines can be operated by hydraulic mechanism, maybe using the electric drive. It can also be operated by using the pneumatics. As I said just with you, hydraulics is one of the power driving mechanism. Of course, pneumatics is also used frequently now. Now you can observe in this figure, based on the power drives. So you have a hydraulic, you can observe one machine here, NC hydraulic sheet bending machine. Here you can observe, you have a tank here in which fluid is filled, and a high pressure fluid is going to operate the driving mechanism of the NC machine. Then, the tool is going to operate with the help of the hydraulic force. In the case of electric power drive, electric motor is located and attached to the tool or a spindle where you want power. You can observe one electric pipe bending machine. Here you have a electric motor is used as a power source to bend the tube. Then you have other machine, that is a pneumatic machine. In this case, pneumatics means compressed air is used to drive. Compressed air is the driving force to perform the work. in the case of pneumatic power drive. As you can see, and see here you can see pneumatic metal circular sawing machine. You have a circular saw here. The driving force here is a pneumatic force. You have a compressor in which the compressed air is filled, and that compressed air at a high pressure is going to operate the tool in the case of pneumatic power drive. The fourth classification is according to the positioning system. In what way your tool is positioned? That can be, according to this system, according to this classification, the position of the tool can be absolute position or maybe incremental positioning. If it is absolute positioning, as you can observe, this type of phenomenon, this type of movement of the tool, positioning of the tool with this figure, as you can see, you have a current location. The first point is at this location. The first point of the tool is at this location, that is 4, 5. X value, X coordinate is 4 and Y coordinate is 5 at this location with respect to origin. This is your first point or the current location of the tool. Whenever you want to move this tool to the next location, the coordinates of that next location is 6, 8. In the case of absolute positioning, the coordinates of the next point, the next location of the tool will be specified as 6, 8. Okay, this is the absolute positioning with respect to the origin. So we are not considering the previous point in this case. Irrespective of the previous point, the next location coordinates are specified in the case of absolute positioning. Means we are not considering the current location. Irrespective of the current location, we are specifying the next location of the tool. This is what the absolute positioning. Whenever you want to use or specify the next location, in the case of incremental positioning, the next location will be specified with respect to the current location. As you can see in this figure, the current location is 4, 5. Suppose if it is if we are specifying, if we want to specify the positioning of the tool in incremental positioning, we have to specify X value as 2 and Y value as 3. As you can see, the difference of X is 2 and the difference of Y is 3. That means the values that you are giving, the values that you are mentioning in the case of incremental positioning is you are increasing the values or the coordinates with respect to the current location to specify the next location. That means to specify the next location, you need to consider the current location, as you can observe in this figure. I tell you once again, if it is a point of 4, 5, in the case of absolute positioning, the next location will be 6, 8 with respect to the origin we are specified. If it is an incremental positioning, the current position is considered. With respect to the current position, the next location is specified. As you can see, if it is an incremental positioning, the next location will be 2, 3. With respect to the current location, we are specifying, we are incrementing the current location. This is what the absolute positioning and incremental positioning. This positioning is extremely used in coding, ANSI coding, ANSI instructions. Then you have other classification, that is hardware, the type of hardware and software ANSI. Hardware ANSI and CNC are the two types in the case of hardware and software ANSI. In the case of hardware ANSI, the machine is not at all connected to the computer. We are not going to use any program to control the machine. Whereas in the case of CNC numerical control, a soft program, that means a program is used to control the machine. That is only the difference between hardware and software CNC. In hardware CNC, the computer is not connected. You have a control unit here. Using this computer, we are going to control the machine. Whereas in the case of software CNC, we are going to integrate the machine to the computer. So the input to the machine is by using the computer. In the case of computer numerical control machine, CNC machine is an example for the software NC. Hardware NC, in the case of hardware NC, you don't have computer. And control unit is there, and using that control unit, we will feed the program. That means we are not going to use a computer or any program. That means the machine tool is not at all controlled using the computer. This is what the difference between hardware and software NC. Now let us see the block diagram of numerical control system. These are all the basic elements in numerical, basic components of NC machine. Basically, you have program of instructions, means NC code, numerical control code. By using alphanumericals and symbols, we will instruct the control unit. That means a program is written. So that program of instructions are fed to the control unit, machine control unit, where all these instructions are processed as the machine readable form, and that signal will be sent to the machine control unit or machine tool unit, sorry, machine unit or machine tool. Machine tool, here the machine tool means CNC machine. So this machine is going to perform the work by taking power. It can be hydraulic, or it can be pneumatic, or it can be electric power. I repeat this once again. You have a program of instructions or NC machine. So those program of instructions uh, are fed to the machine control unit, where all these program of instructions are verified. Then those program is converted as a signal, the machine readable form signal, and that signal will be connected to the or sent to the machine tool, where actual work will be performed by taking the power. These are the basic components of NC system. Let me move on to the functions of NC system. NC system could be able to program, I mean, it should be able to work by using the program of instructions. It must be able to control the machine using the machine control unit, and it must have elements like the tape reader, data buffer, signal output channels, feedback channels from the machine tool. It also must have the machine tool to perform actual work. These are all the components of the NC system. When it comes to the program of instructions, let us see the functions of the components of NC system. So these are all the basic components of the NC system. One is program of instructions, one is machine control unit. It must have the elements like tape reader, data buffer, signal output channels, feedback channels from the machine tool, and it also must have the machine tool. When it comes to the functions of the components of NC system, as I said just now, the first one is program of instructions. These program of instructions are input to the CPU. These instructions are input to the program control unit, central processing unit, in the form of punched card. These instructions, program of instructions, are fed to the machine control unit or the central processing unit in the form of punched card. The detailed systematic set of directions. The detailed systematic set of directions, so which are going to instruct the machine tool, is called the part programs. Program of instructions, in turn, we can call it as a part program. This is composed, the instructions are composed with the alphanumerical values as well as the symbols. Using these alphanumerical values and symbols, the program will be coded, or block of statements are coded, or the instructions are framed. Those instructions are called the part programs. This is nothing but the detailed systematic set of directions that instruct the machine tool is called the part program. The detailed systematic set of direction that instruct the machine tool is called the part program, which is formed by using alphanumerics as well as the symbols. The part program is written in the form of blocks. As I said just now, one complete action of the machine tool. One block is going to execute one action. So a program consists number of blocks. When you combine number of blocks, means when you combine number of actions, we can call it as one program. Each block is going to execute one action in this case, so that a number of blocks are combined together to complete all the work on the component. The second one, the function of the machine control unit, in brief you can call it as MCU, is going to read and interpret the program, NC program, as we have already prepared. The function of this machine control unit is to read and interpret the program of instructions that is on the program tape. Of course, after preparing the program of instructions, NC code, that is formed on the program tape, punched card, or program tape. So that is going to fed into the MC machine. MC machine is going to read and interpret that punched card or tape, then convert that program into the mechanical actions which must be understandable to the machine tool. The main function of this MCU is to read and interpret the program of instructions from the tape, which is already fed to MCU, and convert those programs into the mechanical actions of the machine tool. Mechanical actions means the movement of the tool, the rotation of the tool, actual work which is doing on the machine tool is called the mechanical actions. That is this is the key component of any of the NC system, because it is going to read and interpret the program to perform the mechanical work on the machine tool. This machine control unit consists of tape reader. As I said just now, to read the program, it must require the tape reader. After reading the tape, it must be stored as a buffer, data buffer. This MCU is having one data buffer. After reading the tape, so that data will be stored in this data buffer. Then that data buffer is converted as a signal. That means in the machine readable form, that signal will be converted as that signal will be connected or sent to the machine tool in the form of machine readable form. Then the signal input or output channels, yes, it required to send the signal input and output channel for the feedback signals. Output is for the feedback channels, and the sequence control. Sequence control, let us see what are all these in the coming diagram. This is exactly the machine control unit and its elements. As I said just now, machine control unit consists the tape reader, data buffer, then machine tool, sequence control, and program tape. Program tape or punched card is fed into the tape reader or the machine control unit. This machine control unit consists of tape reader, which is going to read the program on the tape in the coded form. This tape reader is going to read the program which is in coded form. Then this tape reader is going to convert the program or stores this program into the data buffer, and this data buffer is going to send the signal in the machine readable form. This machine tool is going to read this signal. If there is any error, it is going to send the feedback signal to the data buffer. If there is any error, it will send the feedback signal. Otherwise, it is not going to send any feedback signal. Then we have a sequence control here. This sequence control is going to control the other devices of the machine control unit. This is what the function of the machine control unit. This is one of the component of NC system. This is the key component of any of the NC system. MCU is a key component of any of the NC system. Now let us discuss the this machine control unit were already discussed. Now let us discuss the machine tool. Machine tool in this case is a NC mission where the actual useful work will be performed. This consists of table and spindle to hold the tools, and it also consists the motor to give motion to the work table or to the spindle, and controls necessary to drive them. Then NC mission tool, like conventional mission tools, each axis is having are equipped with a separate driving device. If it is a three axis or four axis, each axis is having definite driving mechanism or the driving device or a separate driving device, so that it gives us more flexibility to control the speed. If it is a multi-axis NC machine, what I mean to say is, if it is a multi-axis NC machine, each axis is going to be, each axis of the axis of the each spindle is controlled by a separate driving device. Okay, but whereas in the case of conventional machine, only one drive is going to control the spindle. That is what the difference between NC machine as well as the traditional machine. Traditional machine is having only one drive, whereas if it is a NC machine tool, if it is multi-axis, each axis is controlled and equipped with a separate driving device. That is what the difference between traditional machine as well as the NC machine. The driving device may be in both the cases DC motor, it may be hydraulic motor type, or stepper motor, in which it can be a servo motor or a DC drive. These separate driving devices are also used for controlling the tool direction in the respective axis, These driving devices, these separate driving devices we have here, those are used to control the direction in X, Y, and Z axis. This is the brief functionality of the machine tool, or the machine in turn, NC machine. As I said just now, when it comes to the, of course, as of now, this is the functions of components of the NC system, in which we have discussed the NC machine tool. But now let us see the functions of the feedback device. As we have seen, we have a feedback signal here. If there is any error, this machine is going to send the feedback signal to the data buffer to rectify the errors. Now let us see how this feedback signal is going to work. And we have a separate feedback device which receives the signal, which calculates the error, which processes the data, calculates the error, reprocess the data, and send the zero error signal to the machine. This feedback device is going to perform that. Now let us see that functionality of the feedback device. This feedback device is going to ensure that tool and work table moves to the desired position. That means the feedback device must be able to ensure that the tool and work should move to the desired location as per the instructions of the MCU. That means the tool feedback device is responsible to move the tool and as well as the work table to the desired location as per the directions of the machine control unit. Because the machine tool is going to receive the signals or the instructions from the MCU. Then the other functionality of the feedback device is it must be able to sense the actual movement of the work table or the tool and sends back the data to the control unit. It must sense the actual movement or the location of the movement or the tool, location of the work table or the tool, and that data will be sent back to the control unit. If the data which is sent back to the control unit is having some error, if the data received by the control unit is having any error or any difference between the previous signal and the received signal, then the machine will perform actual work. If there is any error, the signal will be processed until to get the zero deviation or the zero difference. Then the machine will be corrected and the movements of the tool as well as the work table will be corrected with the zero difference. Then the work will be performed. That means this feedback signal is responsible to receive the signal, to process the signal. Then if there is any deviation, this feedback device needs to process the data, sends the signal to the control unit. Then the control unit is going to adjust the error. Then the reprocessed data or the signal will be sent to the machine control unit to adjust the movement of the tool and work table to the desired location. This is what the function of the feedback device. We will discuss these feedback devices in the next class in detail. Let me move on to the NC procedure. The first step in the case of NC machining or the NC manufacturing methodology, process planning. Process planning from the part drawing or the description or from the design data. The first and foremost step is geometric modeling in any of the manufacturing process, in any of the manufacturing procedure. So in this case, in the case of NC machining, that design data or the part drawing or the description of the drawing will be taken as input to the process planning. In the process planning, we are going to calculate, we are going to identify the steps that we need to perform on the workpiece. What are the speed, that means cutting parameters are also identified during this stage. We will see in detail in the coming slide what is process planning. Then we will see the manuscript preparation. After process planning, we need to prepare one manuscript, which is an input to the part programming. That means this document, manuscript is a document which is going to document all the steps to be performed and description of the steps, machine to be used. All those instructions are documented on the manuscript. Time to be taken, all those will be documented on the manuscript, which is an input to the part programming. That means manuscript will become a part program, rough part program before writing the actual part program. Rough program written on the paper or a script before writing the part program. This is called the manuscript. That means all the steps, all the codes which are used to write the part program are documented on the manuscript to write the actual program. That is called the manuscript. We will see this also. We will see the example of the manuscript in the coming slides. Then you have tape or punched card. If it is a traditional NC machine, in this case, tape and punched card are prepared from the part program. So that means this part program is punched on the tape, right, or a punched card using a typewriter like device in the coded form. That we will see in the coming slide. We will also discuss the punched card, example of the punched card, how it looks like. Also, we will see in the coming slides. Then you have the tape verification. I mean, after preparing the tape or a punched card, that needs to be verified whether the code is executing properly or not. That should be verified using one verification machine or a device. So the tape reader, that device is called a tape reader. Tape reader is going to verify the program on the punched card or tape. Then we will also see the tape reader in the coming slides. Then you have the production on the NC machine. Finally, we are going to perform the work on the actual NC machine tool. We will see in detail all these 5 steps. As you can see, as I said just now, so the first and foremost step is to prepare the manuscript. So this is going to take the inputs from the part program, right? So where part program process planning from the part program. I mean, part program drawings or the design data will be the input to the process planning. Okay, the process planning, during the process planning, as I said just now, engineering drawing or design data will be taken as input, and that input and those engineering data will be interpreted in terms of manufacturing process. Manufacturing process means, in this case, we are going to prepare the route sheet in which the sequence of operations to be performed, how it should be performed, where it should be performed are listed in the route sheet, how much time it is taking, how much, I mean, the description of the work also be recorded in this process planning route sheet or the process planning sheet. Also, the route of the work part to be moved from one location to the another location, that is also be documented in this stage. Process planning involves by transforming the design data into the sequence of operations to be performed. In turn, it also tells us the component to be moved from one location to the other location. That means one workshop to the another workshop, like drilling to turning or turning to milling, like that. The route map is also fixed in this case, in this process planning stage. This process planning will be prepared and from the data of the part drawing or the description from the design data. As you can see, this is the process planning sheet. This is an example for the process planning sheet. As you can see, you can also going to list out all the operations, serial number it is having. Let us see the, in turn, this can also be called as a route sheet in which all the operations are documented. Name of the part, component number, then drawing number. If you are referring any drawing, we need to code that drawing number also here. Then you have, then we need to document the order number from which you are getting order for, I mean, for whom you are preparing, you are manufacturing, from where you got the order, that number needs to be quoted here. Then the specifications of the component to be manufactured, what material you are using, then scrap allowance, how much scrap is allowed to manufacture that component is also be mentioned, is also need to be mentioned here. Then you can have a table here. This process plan sheet is having one table here. You can see all the serial number wise, step by step, we are going to document the operations to be performed on the component to get the finished product. You have department serial, assume that you have serial number 1, in which department you are performing operation. Department may be lathe department. In this case, your turning operation. Operation number may be some number. Then you have operation description. You have to describe what operation. It may be turning, it may be milling, step turning, taper turning, like that. We have to mention here. Then what machine you are using. If it is a lathe, you have to specify lathe. Drilling, drill machine drilling, you have to specify. If you are using any tools, tool type, you have to, whether you are using single point cutting tool or the multi-point cutting tool, you have to specify that also here. Then if you are using any jigs and fixtures, so those also need to be documented here in this table. Then manpower required also needs to be specified in this table, whether you require one man or two persons, you require one person or two persons, you have to specify. Then you also need to specify the time per piece, how much time it is taking to complete this task. Then start date and end date. This gives us clear picture of the operation that is to be performed. Operations, those are to be performed on the raw component to get the desired or finished component. This is called the process plan sheet. Then let us see the next step in NC procedure is manuscript preparation and plan for the programming. Okay. Then or it is to get the part program or to write the part program, we need one script. That means it is a rough form of part program is documented on a script. That is called the manuscript for the part program preparation. Directly we cannot write the program, we cannot go for the punching the tape or preparing the tape. We cannot prepare the punched card, or we cannot prepare the tape for the part program, right? So before that, before writing the actual program, we must need to document, or a rough program needs to be written on the script, or documented on the paper. That is called the manuscript for the part programming preparation. In this case, the part programmer plans the uh, uh, portions of the job to be manufactured. Yes, the part programmer needs to identify the steps. Of course, this is, I mean, the process plan sheet will be the input to this manuscript preparation, because the process plan sheet that were prepared in the first step will identifies all the operations to be performed. So based on that, and what mission you are going to use, what type of tool you have to use, what jigsaw fixture you are using, all those will be documented in process planning, so that that will become the input to the manuscript preparation. So the programmer must be aware about all those steps which are documented in the process plan sheet. Then the part programmer prepares the ANSI part programs as per the process planning. As I said just now, those needs to be performed on the component, on the rough component, to get the desired or finished component. Now you can see this is a sample. This is a sample of NC part programming manuscript. This is going to document part program, part number. Then it also must have date, then part name, prepared by. All these will be documented. As you can observe here, the sequence number, this is the first program. I mean, this is the first step, sequence number. In this case, it is going to be a number. Yes, it is a 00 now. Then tab space you are giving here. Then you have the X coordinate value. EOB means end of block. Here the end of block is tab here, EOB. That means here you have one more tab here. Then you have a X coordinate 00, Y coordinate 00. Then the comments are also 0 here. Now you can see. Then the next step, second step is 01 here. The X coordinate values are specified here. Feed rate is specified here. Then the speed is specified here, right? Then M word is one of the NC part programming type. The NC part program is written in different formats, word format, sequential tab format. So those are different types of NC part programming. This is one programming type. And then the end of the block here. Then you can also document the comment here: drill 1, drill 2, drill 3. All those, it is exactly similar to the NC part program, where, I mean, how the tool is moving from one location to the another location, and it also describes the operation that we are performing on the component. It is just a skeleton to the NC part program. NC programming manuscript is a skeleton or a document before writing the actual part program. Please remember this. Then let me move on to next slide. That is, the next step in NC procedure is tape or punched card preparation. Tape or punched card is prepared, as I said just now. You are written a program here from the process planning. After that, that program needs to be coded on a tape or punched card here. In this step, the program is punched or documented on a tape or punched card. So from the manuscript or from the program on a typewriter like device equipped with a type punching capability. It must have a, in this step, we have a typewriter like device. Using that typewriter like device, we are going to prepare a tape or a punched card. Normally, the width of this punched card is 1 inch, and it is having 8 tracks for coding the channels and a column of smaller holes for feeding the tape. Of course, it is having a column of small holes for feeding the tape. Along with the 8 channels, along with the 8 tracks or coding channels, there is one more track to feed the tape continuously to the tape reader. This is what he is trying to say. That means totally we have 9 tracks. So 8 are for actual coding and 1 is to feed the tape to the tape reader. It is around 1 inch wide, right? Then it is having 8 tracks, as I said just now, 1 for feeding the tape. Then the coding of the tape is either, the coding on the tape is either the presence of the hole or absence of the hole indicates the coding. When you specify a hole there in a particular location, that designates something. When you don't specify a hole on the tape, it at a specified location gives some meaning. The coding means meaning. Meaning of the coding of the tape indicates whether you have a hole or you may or you don't have a hole in a various locations. That gives us some meaning, that gives us some coding. System of coding, this type of system of coding is called binary system of coding. That means in this case we are using zeros and ones. If you have a hole, it is having some significance. It is, if the tape don't have any hole, that signifies something at a different location. As you can observe a sample punched card or a tape here, you can observe. As you can see, you have 8 tracks here. These 5 tracks, 8 tracks you can see. These 8 tracks are used for coding. Then you have one more track here. You can observe this track utilized. This track, you have additional track. This track is utilized to feed this tape while reading. The actual coding will be performed on these 8 tracks only. This track is only to feed the tape. As I said just now, as we have seen in the last slide, the width is around 1 inch, not around, it is exactly 1 inch as per the Electronics Industries Association EIA approved punched tape is having 1 inch width, and it is having 8 tracks. Along with that, there is one track which is used to feed the tape. This is what the outline of the punched tape as per the EIA. Then let me move on to the yes, we have seen the description in the previous slide. This tape or punched card is prepared, right? In the case of computer assisted, this is in the case of manual part programming, we are going to use this tape. Whereas in the case of punched card preparation, computer is going to perform these operations. The computer is going to interpret the list of part programming instructions, and it it performs the necessary calculations to convert into the detailed set of machine tool commands. In the case of computer assisted part programming, the computer is going to interpret the list of programming instructions and convert those instructions. It will perform some calculations and convert those calculations into the detailed set of machine understandable tool commands or the machine tool commands. It also performs, this computer is also going to control a device to prepare a tape for specific estimation. So if it is a computer aided programming, assisted part programming, you have a device. That device is going to prepare a tape which is specific to perform mission operations. Then you have other step in tape verification. The next step in NC procedure is tape verification. So in the previous case, in the previous step, we are prepared a punched tape. In this step, we are going to verify the accuracy of the tape. So after coding the program on the tape, we need to verify whether it is correct or wrong. This code, the accuracy of the tape, the accuracy or the code on the tape is checked by running this tape to a tape reader or a computer program. If it is a traditional machine, if it is a traditional NC machine, tape reader is going to read the program on the tape. It will check the accuracy. If it is a CNC machine, computer controlled numerical machine, computer is going to read the tape and plots the various tool movements. In this step, we are going to read the tape, which is having program, which is coded on this tape, which is the program coded on this tape that will be read by the tape reader or a computer program in the case of CNC machine, and it is going to plot the various tool movements on the paper just to assess the accuracy of the component that we are going to manufacture. If the movements of the tool is irregular or it is having any error, those will be rectified in this stage. We can assess the movements of the tool which are documented on the paper by reading the tape reader or with the computer in the case of CNC machine. If we find any error, so those errors will be rectified. By looking into the movements of the tool, various movements of the tool, we can come to know whether we have any error. So by assessing that error, those errors will be rectified by looking into the movements of the tool. After assessing the movement of the tool, after rectifying the errors in the movements of the tool, a dummy product is produced by using a foam or a plastic before going to the actual production. This is called the acid test. This is very, very important step where before producing the actual component, if the dummy part is as per the dimensions of the tape, then we will feed the actual program into the NC machine tool to get the or to perform the actual machining. If we satisfy with the accuracy of the dummy product, then we will feed the actual NC part program into the NC machine tool to get the finished product or to start the actual production. This is also a very, very important step in the case of NC procedure. Then the final step in NC procedure is production with NC machine. Of course, after feeding the NC part program, actual work will be performed. This step involves the ordering the raw work parts. That means loading the work part on the machine tool, then specifying and preparing the tooling. Of course, we need to identify the tools required and pick up the tools required, pick up the fixtures required to hold the workpiece as well as to guide the tool, jigs and fixtures. Then the operator will load the work part, as I said just now, on the machine table and establish the starting position of the cutting tool related to the workpiece. The operator needs to identify the reference point of the tool or reference point of the workpiece. With respect to that point, the tool is going to move or the workpiece is going to move. This is the responsibility of the operator before starting the actual operation. This NC system start the machining according to the instructions received from MCU. This is what the final step in NC procedure. In the next session, we will see the system, NC system motion control in detail. Then we will see the open loop system, open loop NC system in detail. Of course, we are discussed a glimpse of motion control in this slideshow, and the glimpse of this open loop system and closed loop system we have seen, NC control system we have seen, but in the next class we will see in detail. In the next class, we will also look into the applications of the NC system. Finally, we will see the advantages, limitations of NC machining or the conventional machining. So this is all for this session. Thank you one and all for watching this video. Thank you one and all. Let me close the session now. Thank you.